World War II was a global catastrophe. It was the deadliest conflict in human history. More than 50 million people died. It lasted from 1939 to 1945. The war involved most of the world's nations. This included all of the great powers. The war was fought in many different places. These included Europe, Asia, and Africa. Cities were destroyed. Millions of people became refugees. The war had a profound impact on the world. It led to the creation of the United Nations. It also marked the beginning of the Cold War. The causes of World War II are complex. They include the Treaty of Versailles, the rise of fascism, and the failure of appeasement. The Treaty of Versailles was the peace treaty that ended World War I. It was very harsh on Germany. In 1938, Adolf Hitler, the leader of Nazi Germany, demanded the Sudetenland. This was a region of Czechoslovakia with many German speakers. Britain and France wanted to avoid war. They believed that giving Hitler what he wanted would appease him. The Munich Agreement was signed in September 1938. It allowed Germany to annex the Sudetenland. British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain famously declared that it would bring peace for our time. The Munich Agreement was a failure. It did not stop Hitler. In March 1939, Germany invaded and occupied the rest of Czechoslovakia. This showed that Hitler could not be trusted. It also showed that appeasement had failed. On September 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. This was the event that started World War II. Germany used a new military tactic called Blitzkrieg. This meant lightning war in German. Blitzkrieg involved using tanks, airplanes, and infantry in a coordinated attack. It was very effective. German forces quickly overwhelmed the Polish defenses. Britain and France declared war on Germany on September 3, 1939. However, they were unable to provide much help to Poland. Poland fell to Germany in less than a month. In the early days of the war, Germany and its allies, Italy and Japan, won many victories. In April 1940, Germany invaded and occupied Denmark and Norway. In May 1940, Germany invaded France. The German army bypassed the French defenses. They did this by going through the Ardennes forest. The French army was quickly defeated. France surrendered to Germany on June 22, 1940. The fall of France was a major turning point in the war. It left Great Britain alone to fight against Germany. Section 5. The Battle for Britain, standing alone. After the fall of France, Germany turned its attention to Great Britain. The Battle of Britain was an air campaign fought between the German Luftwaffe and the British Royal Air Force, or RAF. The Luftwaffe tried to destroy the RAF. They wanted to gain air superiority over Britain. The RAF fought bravely. They were helped by a new invention, radar. Radar allowed the RAF to detect incoming German aircraft. The Battle of Britain was a major victory for Great Britain. The Luftwaffe failed to defeat the RAF. Germany was forced to postpone its plans to invade Britain. Section 6. A global conflict from Pearl Harbor to Stalingrad. On June 22, 1941, Germany invaded the Soviet Union. This was a major turning point in the war. The invasion opened up a vast new front in the east. It also brought the Soviet Union into the war on the side of the Allies. On December 7, 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. This was a surprise attack on the US Pacific Fleet. The attack brought the United States into the war on the side of the Allies. The war in Europe and Asia raged on. In February 1943, the Battle of Stalingrad ended in a decisive Soviet victory. This was a major turning point in the war. It marked the beginning of the end for Germany. Section 7. Turning the tide, hope on the horizon. The year 1943 also saw Allied victories in North Africa. The Battle of El Alamein in Egypt was a turning point. It was the first major Allied land victory against the Axis powers. In July 1943, the Allies invaded Sicily. This was the beginning of the Italian campaign. The invasion of Italy led to the fall of Benito Mussolini, the fascist dictator of Italy. On June 6, 1944, the Allies launched the D-Day invasion of Normandy, France. This was the largest seaborne invasion in history. It was a major turning point in the war. It opened up a second front in Western Europe. Section 8. Liberation and victory, the end of a nightmare. After D-Day, the Allies liberated France and began to advance into Germany. At the same time, the Soviet army was advancing from the east. In April 1945, Soviet forces captured Berlin, the capital of Germany. On April 30, 1945, Adolf Hitler committed suicide. Germany surrendered to the Allies on May 8, 1945. This marked the end of the war in Europe. The war in the Pacific continued until August 1945. The United States dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki on August 6th and 9th, 1945. Japan surrendered to the Allies on August 15th, 1945. This marked the end of World War II. Section 9, A World Forever Changed, The Legacy of War. World War II was a global tragedy. It had a profound impact on the world. The war led to the deaths of millions of people. It also caused widespread destruction. The war had a lasting impact on the political landscape of the world. It led to the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers. It also led to the creation of the United Nations. World War II was a defining moment in human history. It is important to remember the war and its lessons so that we can prevent such a tragedy from happening again. If you found this exploration of history illuminating, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Let us continue to learn from the past together.